What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live from a rainy and gray Summerlin, Nevada this morning. In here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. It's dreary outside. Spread, we're coming to the end. Is this the end of the road for the Wagering World this season until August? Do the Nuggets do it tonight? Is the question. How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, I wasn't worried about copyright, we could play some Boys to Men right now because this is probably going to be the last NBA game of the season.
The end of the road to be cranked up. Yeah, man, it's been a really boring series. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and hey, credit to the Nuggets. They're finally getting the credit they deserve, I believe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll see what happens tonight. It was fun on Friday. I tried to goad you into taking the Heat again, but you were like, no.
No way. No way. You and Ski. I said, no way. I'm already in. I've seen enough. I'm not going to be in here anymore. Because it's like when you're watching the game, this is what I've noticed about that series that stuck out so big to me. When you get past the top three for Miami, it's all just guys who've never been drafted before, they just got in the league some type of way out of hard work and effort. You get past the Nuggets top three, it's all first round picks, and some of them are lottery picks. Like even their fourth, fifth, sixth, or seven guys, look at Aaron Gordon, lottery pick. KCP, lottery pick, Jeff Green, lottery pick. It was a while back, but people forget these guys were all top draft picks in the draft, man. They were really good players in college and have been throughout their career. And I mean, we knew it early. I've been just going against myself, beating myself up because I'm like, I said the Nuggets were going to win a championship, and they were the deepest, best team in the West and in the NBA, like in October, and never put in a ticket. So now I'm suffering. So that's why I got a little hard on. It seems like for Denver. Like I'm just kind of mad at myself because I knew they were the best team and I didn't bet it, man. Let's get to the past though. We had a pretty successful weekend.
Oh, the weekend crush. So let's start with what I thought was the more interesting French Open final. And that was on the women's side. What a freaking surprise. I know people love greatness, but I don't know. I didn't feel like tuning in on Sunday morning. It was like, got no chance, right? I mean, so anyways, we took Mahova. We also took her on the money line. She wasn't able to come through, but the plus 5.5 was easy, right? Like going into the third, Iga would have had to get a 6-0 or a 6-1 for us not to cover that, right? So, credit to Muhova. Iga, she wasn't dominant like she was last year, but the title, right, and the check is going to be the same, and the ranking points are all going to be the same. So she's a little more vulnerable. She's never been comfortable on grass. She talked about needing to improve there. Let's see how much she does that. But let's give credit to Muhova. How do you think that Muhova is going to, how are we approaching Muhova here from a betting perspective for the rest of the year? Like, sometimes I feel like, okay, we kind of had our run, right? She made the final. Everyone's aware now. I don't think the prices are going to be good on here for a while. What did you think of that match, and how are we going to approach these two players going forward?
First about the match, phenomenal match. Swiatek didn't lose the match. Muhova lost the match. You know what I mean? So it's like Swiatek didn't play a normal tennis where she just dominated, blew off the court, because as we spoke about, Muhova really has the type of game that troubles her, and she had a really successful, track record against her, and it showed. She started out really slow, nerves had her in the first set, got mowed 6-2. Second set, she was down 0-3, and then fired back, got into a game, got comfortable, and got confident, won the first two games of the decider. And then she got, loose and let, Iga win 3 straight. Maybe she needs to invest into a sports psychologist like Iga has, because Iga was solid. And the things that I talked about, she proved me wrong. Usually Iga's kind of head case in the third set. She really was mellow, kind of stayed the course even after getting broken, like just was focused on, like, I can get these breaks back. She got broken twice. So Muhova could have won this match very easily. She was up 2-0 and up 4-3 serving, where she could have won up 5-3 and really took control of the match. I was able to get some great hedges on this match. I got Iga like plus 225 when she went down to her 4-3. and got broken. But really, what I took from the match was Iga has came a long way. She's a true champion. I respect her, and she showed it because she won in a different style this time. She didn't win as the front runner. She just played solid tennis and allowed Muhova to beat herself. And Muhova gave it a match, and that's why Muhova was in such a distraught type of feelings. She was feeling so sad when they were doing the trophy award, because if you think about it, from where she comes from and with her being injured and being such an underdog, she should have been really happy. Most, how tennis is. Tennis is one of those games like baseball. You're gonna lose, so they don't take losses as hard as people do in, like, say, football. So she should have been really elated, like, man, I made it all the way to the finals, and I made runner up from coming from all these injuries. She was crying. She was bawling because she knew she blew it. She really blew that match, and that kind of goes in with what you were saying about how do we bet her forward. I'm afraid she might go into a shell spread. She might be a fade coming forward right out the door, especially if they run up her numbers too high, because she has to carry that match with her into these, at least these beginning grass tournaments that don't really matter as much. Hopefully she'll have her stuff together by Wimbledon, because she has the type of game that would be successful on the grass. But early in these next tournaments, I'm gonna see about maybe fading the dog against her in some of them, because I think she took that loss very hard. She should have, because she gave that match away.
Yeah, and that's tough. So, right as the market gets higher on her, we might be staying away there. So,
Yeah,
something to keep in mind here when you're watching, almost like a stock. This might be in her buy high, and we rode it all the way to the top, and we'll see where she goes from here. Another great pick you gave us: the Pittsburgh Maulers first half versus the Michigan Panthers. You knew I was out and about, enjoying the sunshine, so I didn't watch the game at all. I do
yeah.
know. We were able to get it home, though. What were your thoughts here on the Pittsburgh Maulers?
Just what we thought it was going to be. The Maulers came out, executed great. They're one of those teams that play really good defense, really good special teams. Started out the game with a big kick return where they got it deep inside the Panthers' area of the field. Scored in like the first 3 minutes of the game. Just good execution. They're a well coached team. They're going to be a difficult out if they can get into the playoffs, simply because the type of defense they play. As I told you, I knew that their quarterback for the Panthers would struggle with that defense. He threw 4 interceptions. Josh Love did. And, just great deep by the Maulers. Dominant performance. We were able to catch the first half as we were supposed to.
All right. So that was another good one. USFL, too. You're loving these smaller leagues. I think
Yeah.
definitely the fact that you watch so much college football lends itself well.
Yes.
So I'm happy to take advantage of that knowledge. Ottawa +2 versus Montreal. That's not
Yes. On this
USFL.
one, no, this is the
Oh, the
Canadian
Maulers was
football.
USFL. This is the
This
CFL. Excuse
Canadian,
me.
but
Yeah,
this is the one I tweeted that they should buy out, because remember when I gave the breakdown, I was telling them about Jeremiah Masoli, the guy who used to play for Oregon, who's the quarterback for the Red Blacks. He was out, so they had Nick Arbuckle in, who's terrible, and I got told everyone to buy out and to take Montreal online. That's why it's very important you guys follow us on Twitter. Follow him at Spread Astaire. Follow me at 5 Star in Vegas. We keep our handles up on the screen for you guys, because as information comes, we sometimes have to pivot. It's rare, but when the right type of information comes, we pivot. So those who were following, they all won, because I told them if you had already bought it from watching the Wager World on Friday and did the Ball and Parlay to buy out and then double down heavy on Montreal. So we did win that, but we had a little reverse, and it was simply because of information. As I said, Masoli was out. I know about Arbuckle. As you said, I follow these smaller leagues and take a lot of advantage of the book with these smaller leagues in football, and simply because college information, and also how long I've been watching Canadian Football League. I'm very familiar with the quarterbacks and the players. Montreal, their quarterback did just enough, as I knew that he would. He's not a great quarterback for Hardo, but he did just enough. But going against Arbuckle, it was going to be easy, because Montreal has a sound defense, and Arbuckle, he's not going to do much. So as long as he's the quarterback for Ottawa, fade Ottawa, and I think he'll be the quarterback the next couple of weeks as Masoli kind of gets back from a knee injury that he suffered last year.
All right. The last thing we have, we already talked about it a bit. The Nuggets beat the Heat. Any more on that? Just moving to tonight. That's kind of
Yeah, we
correlated.
can go
So,
into the present,
yeah,
then
we're
kind
going
of
to the
talk about what
present right
happened.
now. We're going to talk about the Nuggets. On my offshore book, they're -9 right now. The total right now is 210.
Yeah.
So, how are you looking at tonight?
I'll talk about it in the ball and parlay. I'm going to get involved. I gotta trust Bo and trust Jimmy early.
All right, let me
Embarrassing
ask you this
effort.
though. I see. Because obviously I have the script, so I know what your pick is. Let
Yeah.
me ask you this question right now because I know that you already have your breakdown for the ball and parlay ready. I was enjoying the Run Pure show this morning where they talk about how to make their DFS lineups, and they use the computer program, the Saber Sim that we offer, which is an optimizer. And halfway through the show, the news comes in. Tyler Hero is expected to play. How does that affect your handicap? Because that was a big part of that show. I enjoyed listening to them just trying to digest the news on the fly, right? And change all their projections and everything. I'm really curious. I really didn't know what to make of it. I'll be honest, from a betting perspective, I don't know if it changes my handicap that much, but I'm going back and forth because you look at this team, what's been the issue? Offense, right? I mean, they only scored 95 points, right, in the last game. They're not going to beat a high-powered Denver offense with that type of output. Obviously, the defense is going to be a lot worse because he's not good. We saw Duncan Robinson just get hunted in the last game, and we saw, oh, well, maybe this is why he wasn't playing that much in the first place. Tyler Hero back on the floor. How does this affect the game?
Not much to me. He's not even worth a half a point to me, and he might even go off and have a great game, but he's pretty much interchangeable with Strus, with Robinson, with Vincent. They're all the same guys, but the difference is hopefully for Heat backers is that he knocks down these shots that Max Strus has really been struggling. He's 20% on wide open threes, and that's why he's, was an undrafted player because in these moments, you have to come through for your team. And I think what this is all setting up really for Miami is after they lose the series, um, they're going to be a really good team next year because Dame Lillard is going to be in Miami. And I expect them to get a couple more
Mm.
pieces. I think Dame Lillard is going to be in Miami. That's why he's talking about it. He's exactly what they're missing. So all they need is somebody to get them 22, 24 more points every night. And they're going to be a difficult out because of the system. That's why I say hero doesn't mean as much because they're more of a system. Everybody has a little cog in there, including Jimmy Butler. That's why it's important that they get an explosive scorer that can go get their own basket and let Jimmy continue to do what he does, lead, play both sides of the ball, be smart when he gets his ISO situations, take advantage of it. Hit the open 3-point guys. They need to get. I think the young guy, baby Joker, with almost the same name as the MVP, Jovic, he was hurt. That kid can stroke it. I think he's going to get big minutes next year. He's like 6'10" and can shoot threes at a high percentage. I think Miami's better chances at winning the championship are actually next year and the year following. I really think they get Dame, and the reason why I think that is because he brought that team up specifically and said if they didn't win, if they won the championships, he wouldn't want to go there. So what he's pretty much saying is he wants to be the difference maker, so that if he does get traded somewhere, he's not added on to a place that's already winning, where he's hopping on the train. He wants to make sure that he's the reason why the team was able to accomplish what they accomplished, and he has that opportunity with Miami. He fits perfectly. You replace him what an OG Kyle Lowry is, and that team goes 7 with this Nugget team. Have enough talent at that point. Right now, they're just not talented enough, man. The Nuggets are a very talented team, man.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how this game turns out tonight. I got a little bit on there for the ball and parlay
Who
as
did you
well.
take? Did you take the Nuggets?
Yeah,
You land a 9?
bro, they covered 9 in Miami, both
Yeah,
games.
yeah. The only thing that bothers me is this about this game. Every time the Heat get in these type of situations, they tend to play their best basketball. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Denver goes right back to Miami and wins there and end up having a party and live. And
Wow.
going
Yeah,
crazy
I
in
just don't
Miami.
see it happen. I think it's
I
going to
can
be a
see
party
I
tonight.
can see Miami pulling the upset tonight, man. I really do. I really think they can pull off an upset tonight. It just seems like a situation that we've seen a couple times with them with game two in Denver, game seven, in Boston. Every time it seems like they suck and like they have no chance. They play their best. So we know how basketball is, man. It's all about momentum. So if they're making the threes early and playing D, they'll be able to stay in this game. That's why when I got getting the ball and parlay, I talk about how we're going to cut the game in half. I love to do half times. So I'm going to just deal with the Heat on the first half because of that theory that if they start out, slow, it's going to be over. Turns to a party earlier through. They're going to get ran out the
I
gym.
think it's going to turn to a party early. I think it's going to feel more like a coronation than a competitive basketball game. But we will see. Since this potentially could be our last show here in a little while, you got a future for us. Go ahead and let people know what that one is.
Jump on the Chiefs right now while you can catch them under a touchdown. Well, under a touchdown and an extra point. I'm gonna buy a half a point to get them a 6.5. I think they'll land right on the 7 or above when they play the Lions. Guys, Lions are not ready for this uh, spotlight. I'm telling you, they're gonna have a good season, but they're hyping them up a little bit more than I think that they're gonna be ready for. You got Dan Campbell, who's a good guy, knows how to motivate. They've been really sharp. They have one of the best OCs in the game, and they were able to re-sign him and keep the other guys. A lot of people wanted him. They was trying to grab him and take him out of Detroit. Detroit led the league in scoring last year. That doesn't matter. This is the first game home coronation game for the Super Bowl. Um, these type of games are the games that I expect Kansas City to play their best, along with like the playoffs, big division games, Monday night games, because this is a game when the whole world will be watching. And I think Mahomes has his eyes focused on trying to be better than Brady. His goal is to try to catch Brady, even though it seems unattainable. He really has the time to do it, but he has to start now. He has to do it every year because Brady has 7, and he has 5 more to get. And I think that Pat has about 10 more years of being in his prime because the way he plays ball, it's not all about speed and all that type of stuff. He has great movement in the pocket. He's very smart, one of the smartest guys in the league, and he's just a real pro. And him and Andy Reid are on the same, uh, you know, page all the time. And if Andy Reid can remain the head coach there, I think they'll be fine. I actually think it's an upgraded OC. I don't get me wrong, Bieniemy can coach, but I think the Bieniemy was kind of a hard ass and was sometimes giving Mahomes problems. I think that now with the older OC coming back, they used to coach Chicago over there. Um, that I think that he'll let Mahomes be more part of the game plan, get him a little bit more freedom and doing things more that he likes to do. But I really think that the Chiefs smacked the Lions in the first, game of the season. I think they beat them by at least 10 points. So get it under the 7 while you can now, because I guarantee you this line will be 7.5, maybe 8 points by the time to maybe 9 by the time it starts. But I like the Chiefs early right now. And I think that the Lions are going to be outclassed.
All right. So you're saying get in on the Chiefs right now, get a little bit of that sweet, sweet CLV closing line value. Five
Yeah.
star expects the Chiefs to take money, and why not? It's like you said, it's the best team in the league versus the fun Cinderella story. But right, it almost comes back to how I feel. And I know this is a crazy comparison, but the difference between Will Hardy and Joe Mazzulla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Joe Mazzulla was expected to win a championship as a rookie. Everyone's down on him. Will
Yeah.
Hardy was expected to be the worst team in the lottery. So he's a great coach because they won 30-something games. It's a
Yeah.
little different than having to go toe-to-toe with Tom Thibodeau, Eric Spoelstra, guys like that, right? So,
Yeah.
the expectations obviously change this. And that's what, as a sports bettor, it's not our ability to watch the game and say, oh, they're going to run the cover 2 against this and this. It's what does the market have this team at? Where is the market wrong, right? Because a
Right.
lot of it is just what is the perception of these teams.
Right.
The Lions, everyone's going to be high on them, and they'll probably have a good season. But to me, the Chiefs are still the best team in the NFL. All right,
Yeah.
let's move to the Ball and Parlay because you have some winning picks for us, so we can give these people some money before, right? We might be taking a break. We'll see. It's funny though. I have my 9-day vacation planned right when Boston was at home.
Yeah.
Or when Miami was at home in Game 6. That was the night we thought it was all going to go. Yeah. And it didn't happen. So we've learned our lesson here, but I might be planning a vacation. What do you got for the people?
I don't know if Miami can pull out the straight out victory. I do think that those guys have enough pride, and I think that Spoelstra is smart enough to come out with a different, complete look offensively and defensively that they're able to execute and get an early lead. I think they show a lot of fire and, just really try to fight hard. And I think that the others tonight know that they have to step up because they've sucked. All the guys that they depend on, whether it's Martin, whether it's Strus, whether it's Vincent had one good game. He hasn't been much tonight. They bring back Tyler Hero. Maybe that puts, a little gas in the tank. Others, because now they're like, hey, these minutes are gone. Here comes Hero. He's back, man. I gotta perform or I'm gonna cut off this team next season. So I just think that the Heat are desperate. I like desperation in these type of games. And I think that the Nuggets also kind of know that they can win this game whenever they want to. So I will not be surprised if they do make a quick push in the first quarter. But I think if Miami fights hard, plays scrappy, most of all knocks down their threes, that they hit their open looks, because they're having open looks. The thing that Denver's winning on is Denver's not allowing any offensive rebounds. They're controlling the boards, and that's why Miami's shots are limited. They are getting limited opportunities to score. I don't think they scored 100 points in the whole series. So they have to knock down their three-pointers in order to win. So I think that they knock them down early. I think Martin comes out and plays well. I think Hero plays well. I think that Strus and Vincent play well, and they get an early lead and are able to stay in this game, because if they lose another first half, they haven't won a first half this entire series, it's going to be over with. So I think that the new game plan that Coach Spo comes in kind of surprises Denver. I think just the aggressiveness and tenacity of Miami in a desperate situation allows them to stay in the game early. So I'm going with the Heat first half plus 5.5, and I'm also going with Arthur Fields. He has veteran countrymen of his own. They're both Frenchmen, Manarino. They're playing in the Libima Open. I got to go with, this new kid. He's a good player, man. He had a bad showing, unfortunately, at the French Open. He had just came off winning the title, beating Sorrendello for a championship at the Lion tournament in France, which was his native country. So he was a little, tired from that. He's a young kid, probably partied a little bit, but he went to the French where he was expected to, have a better showing, and lost to Ivanovic Fakino, who's a really good player. That guy can play. And now Fields is back. He's rested, took a little time off. He's going to this tournament, man. This is grass season. He has a game that's perfect for grass because he's a good server, good volleyer. He's already warmed up by beating two really good players in the qualifying rounds, and now he goes against the old line, Manarino. Manarino is not the guy he used to be. He's lost 7 out of 8 matches. Fields is 7-1 his last 8 matches. So, we're going to go with Fields. I think Fields outclasses Manarino. I think that he's up for the match because he's playing another Frenchman, and also his game is just better than Manarino's at this present moment. And pretty much the match is on his rack, and I think he gets it done.
All right, so you like Fields versus Adrian Manarino. Manarino, tough guy to go against. He can grind you out and he can frustrate you when you're
he can frustrate you. Yes, Monovic is a pretty good player. He's playing against Manarino. Manarino sucks. He had more than like 10 straight at this time. So I'm like, man, go load up and put it like, so my sister used to play professionally, so I'm gonna call her and ask her. So he put her on speaker. She's like, he's an old guy, but he can play really good. When he needs some money, he plays really good. Like, he's crafty, he can give people problems. Pretty much what you said. He comes and smokes Kismanovic, man. I lose like $5,000. And I was so mad. I was like, you jinxed me. What called him to play, bro? I just thought about that because you said the same thing that she said. Like, he's a little crafty guy.
He's one of those guys I never get him right, but I'll join you on there. And,
that's not a good omen, Spread.
But it's not my handicap. So
okay. All right, okay.
Hey,
Go
that's
ahead, man.
if it was my handicap. If I was like, I handicapped the match and I'm right with you, they would be
Right.
worried, right? But I'm just taking the
Okay.
pick, right?
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
taking the under tonight. Boy, I missed. I'm on that last game too. I had the over, and then, I did our show. I did the NBA rundown on the Sports Channel, and then I logged on. I listened to Ski Talk, and he was on the under, and I said, "F me, I do not want to be on the opposite side of Ski in totals
Right.
in the NBA right now. I mean, the guy's like on just a streak right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of like the Oakland A's. We'll talk about that later. But
I took them yesterday and won the first 5 with them. I took them yesterday. Yep.
Yeah. So, but these elimination games, you always just take the under, and so I should have really thought that it was essentially an elimination game, right? Because they're going down 3-1, and nobody really thinks they can overcome that. But this is a legitimate elimination game. I'm not saying you blindly take the under, but to me, it's always under or pass. It's very treacherous to take an over in an elimination game. I think it's going to be real physical. Like those old 90s Knicks, you can't call a foul on every play, but they're going to be fouling each other on every play. Miami's got nothing to lose. They're going to go all out. So I think that lends itself to an under tonight. So I'm on under 210.
Yeah. When you took the over last game, I was watching the game. I was like, this is not going to reach the over.
It was dead, like right at the beginning.
Right. They scored like, what, 30 points in the first quarter or something.
And then they gave me some hope in the third because they were on pace by the end of the third. Like whatever my number was it 211? It was actually the same as the live total at that time. Okay, it could go either way. And in game 3, one of the reasons I like the over, Miami was fouling like a college team down 10.
Yeah.
Because we played a plus 12.5 on a live show I did, and they fouled right through it.
Oh my
God! It shouldn't have been that way because they never foul past that. So that was another thing I thought would happen. Maybe that kills me tonight, right? Because it's an elimination game, but we will see. But yeah, the under here for these next 3 games. If there are 3 more games, it's going to be under or pass for me on every game.
Yeah, you got to go under with Miami. They haven't scored 100 points in all the series. Like they haven't even reached 3 digits. All right, so we got the Heat first half plus 5.5. Be wary. And we got Arthur Fields against the Jinky and Clever Manarino at minus 110. Now it's going to be a morning match, and then spread is on the right side. I think with the under 210 this series has been all about the under. Anything for the people spread before we get out of here?
No, maybe we'll see you soon. Maybe we'll see you in a bit. But stay tuned. Of course, follow 5-Star because he'll let you know. We talked beforehand. We're not going to go completely dark on you guys. We'll talk some Wimbledon. If 5-Star's got a great USFL play that we need to talk about, we'll jump on there. We'll be doing a little tennis coverage this summer, but mainly if everything's over tonight, right? I told you already, the plan is for me to take about a month to recharge and then dive right into that NFL. And we'll be doing the previews like we did last year. And I feel like we identified a lot of good things last year going into the season. So I'm expecting us to do that again this summer.
Yeah, I look forward to it, man. I really hope, and I'll lose a little money because I got Miami to win the series. I hope Denver just ends all this because all they're going to do is drag it out for the inevitable, So it's like, come on, man. Let us get to summer. Let's get off the grid a little bit, recharge, you said. I'll be posting some plays on Twitter, so make sure you follow me at 5-Star in Vegas. Me and Spread will come on when the USFL playoffs kick off. If not this week, maybe the next weekend. I think we'll just do a quick little ball and parlay, tell you guys who to take as Canadian Football League continues to go over the summer, which is one of my favorite sports to bet. I'll be posting it online, do a couple videos to you guys, but I'll be mostly off the grid, enjoying time with my wife. Our anniversary is June 27th, man, so I'll be doing that. We'll be, going traveling, hopefully getting over to Europe or somewhere like that to enjoy some time together. And then when I come back, like Spread say, wherever I'm at, we'll do the tennis. We'll get on to Wimbledon. I should be in Vegas when we do Wimbledon because how we plan on doing the traveling stuff is we're going to do a quick one for the anniversary and then do a long one after the 4th of July. So I should be available for us to do the Wimbledon show where we're going to tell you guys who to take, who we like, who to put in on your futures. And then I'll be on Bet US TV with Noops also doing a Wimbledon show. So look forward to all that. We're not disappearing on you guys, but we do have to take a break, man. We be on the grind. We're on the grind like 9 months of the year straight, man. Just every day with college football season, the NFL season. Then we transition from there right into the NBA. We don't do as much MLB. I personally bet MLB and give it out to clients, but I don't like to do shows on it because it's such a grind doing MLB every day. I just try to pick one or two teams and follow them throughout the year. It's much easier to bet, and as you know, I'm an Astros fan, so it's way easier to bet Astros games every day. So I try to focus on just doing that, and I suggest you guys do the same. If you're betting MLB, find you a team that you like, whether you like the way they play or you don't, and either bet against them every day like your Oakland A's. But they're getting murdered. The people who use that type of method are getting killed. What are they now? 6 straight wins?
I think 5 straight, but I don't follow baseball.
Did they lose yesterday or win?
No,
they
won yesterday. They got a sweep.
Oh, well, that's 6 straight. That's 6 straight. No, that's 6 straight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's 6 straight. So if you betting the strategy that you bet with teams, you either take a good team. This is just some quick game for you guys on betting Major League Baseball, the way to make the season easy. Whether you're a Yankees fan, you're an Astros fan, find a really good team. If you got a good team, or if you're in a spread situation with a team that's not as well in your town that you watch all the time, if you don't love them and don't follow them like that, and love your money more, you fade them every day. And when they start back winning, you double down. If they win, you double down again. The same thing with the Astros. You bet them every day. When they lose, you double down the next game because most of the time they're going to win. I took a little small lumping just now in that Cleveland series because they got swept, but as you go throughout the year, you got 162 games, and this is long term. We know the Astros are still going to win 90 games, so you're going to end up on the plus side of that. The A's are going to lose probably 80 games, so you're still going to end up on the plus side. So, but they are playing good, man. And when you find them teams like how the A's are, it's a great value. I took them yesterday and got them plus 170 the first 5. But guys, we really enjoy talking sports to you. If this is the last show for a little while, we appreciate you for tuning in all year. We'll definitely let you guys know when we'll see you again. Tonight we'll be tuned in to NBA just like you. But if something happens and somehow Miami pulls out a miracle, then what is that? Thursday we'll see you, or Wednesday?
Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday we'll be back, guys. Best of luck to you all tonight. We'll see you on the Wagering World very soon.